Guys having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I just saw with Wells Fargo. It looks like Wells Fargo just got in trouble again for surprise, surprise, racism and screwing over not just their customers, but also screwing over those who were trying to get jobs with this bank. This is interesting to me because Wells Fargo has been accused of this kind of thing before. A lot of you remember when Wells Fargo multi-billion dollar scale, to the Black community and really sort of exploiting the Black community in some crazy ways. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of this to you so you guys know what happened and what went down. And according to Yahoo Finance, there's apparently they paid $85 million to settle these claims. They were accused of, in a lawsuit, of conducting interviews with diverse candidates without actually planning to hire anybody for the job. There it was a former executive named Joe Bruno who addressed the concern. He said the fake interviews were inappropriate and morally wrong, ethically. He was fired in August of 2021, and Wells Fargo stated that it resulted from his combative behavior with another employee. Nonetheless, other employees have shared similar sentiments to Bruno's regarding Wells Fargo's interviewing practices. Some admitted they had to conduct interviews with diverse hires, even though the role was already filled. So basically, what Wells Fargo's been accused of is they've been accused of pretending to be interested in hiring Black people, but not actually doing that. And it's not just Black people, but just diverse candidates, which, as you know, has become a very was intentionally intended to do. Now, with that said, what's interesting to me about this is that there's nothing really surprising here if you know the history of America, if you know the history of banking, if you know the history of corporate, if you know the history of American institutions, if you understand really how diversity actually works in America, you'll know that most diversity programs have been nothing but a scam from the very beginning. Let me know if you felt this way, if you agree with me. But most diversity programs are not really effective. Most corporations for many years will put up little false diversity statements claiming that they believe in diversity and these non-discrimination policies and all this other stuff. But it really didn't mean anything. It wasn't actually getting real results. Even since they created things like affirmative action, you haven't seen Black wealth increase dramatically. None of those things. And now there have been times where it has been modestly successful. Like I can say when I got my job at Syracuse, I was definitely an affirmative action hire, not because I wasn't qualified, but because they just refused to hire Black people. They literally would have qualified Black people that came through and they would ignore them and not hire them and not give them an opportunity. And this was going on for like 100 years. And then finally, they forced them to do it. We were like the little rock knot up in there. It was really difficult to get them to make that move because economics is culture. The environment that you operate in is culturally connected to who you are and what you want and what kind of people you want to work with. And I don't believe, call me combative, call me naive, call me mean. I don't know, call me a cynic, but I don't believe white people really want to work with us that much. I don't think that other people really want to work with our community as much as they say that they do. And also, there are stereotypes that just come in and haunt us from the day we walk through the door. It's really demoralizing if you are a believer in the goodness of the American system. Now, by the way, I want to ask you, can you guys hear me? Give me a quick yes in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I've had some issues with the audio. And also, just so you know, in case you came in, we're talking about Wells Fargo, and they were just accused, and they just had to pay $85 million for holding interviews, diversity interviews, with no intention of hiring the candidate. Sometimes the job would already be filled and just waste their time and give them the impression that they were being seriously considered, but they weren't being actually considered. And so anyway, with that being said, I will say this is my message to the B1 community. B1 is Black first. That means we care about ourselves, we care about our children, we take care of our community because if we don't, basically, I think that we have to sort of walk away from this false idea that diversity hiring is going to be any significant remedy for the Black community. I really do. I think that we have to just let go of that completely. We have to stop believing that people are going to do right by us, that people are going to take care of us, that people are going to hook us up, that people are going to do the right thing. I don't think America's ever been built on doing the right thing. I don't believe that there are people out here that really want the best for us. I don't believe that, and I think that the challenge for us is we have to really want the best for ourselves. And somebody says the audio stalling. I don't know why the audio stalling. It's maybe it's Amazon Web Services. I'm trying to shut down everything so that maybe my Wi-Fi doesn't cause an issue, but I don't know what to do, y'all. I apologize. I wish I could. I wish I knew more to what to do. Let me know if you can still hear me okay, then look, I'm gonna keep rocking it out. If it gets too bad, then I'll go ahead and end it. But Wells Fargo, this company in particular has this history. They did the whole thing with predatory lending. They're probably most known for the predatory lending, for making bad loans to black people. You'll remember that way back, maybe about 15 years ago, and they had to pay 175 million for that. Now, the problem with that, though, is that 175 million for a company like Wells Fargo is absolutely nothing. I mean, if I looked up Wells Fargo and I looked up their market cap, let me see here. I'm gonna try to look and see what the market cap is. It's a butt kick today. Wells Fargo's market cap, I think, what is it? Let me see. It is from a quarter of $1 trillion, right? A quarter of $1 trillion. So if you have a company that has a quarter of $1 trillion market cap, 175 million is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I mean, 1% of their market cap, I think, is what is that? $2.5 billion. So it's not even, one, it's what was that, maybe like 1/10 of 1% of their market cap. So they're not really suffering from what they did. So here's the thing. Wells Fargo's not the only company. See, the thing is, I want you to get away from this. I would love for you to consider this. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. But I argue that we should get away from this idea that these racial incidents are just, one-offs, that they just happen every blue moon, that, it's like, oh yeah, America is a healthy country. It's not racist at all. But every now and then we have these flare-ups or these idiosyncratic situations, these specific situations that happen, and it's an abomination, and this is an exception to the rule. No, racial incidents like this are not an exception to the rule. That is the freaking rule. And it drives me crazy when people keep seeing exception after exception after exception, and they won't accept the fact that no, that is the rule. That is how you operate. That's how you do business. That is your country. And the fact that we got to fight about this, the fact that we have to argue and debate this forever and ever and ever is the weirdest thing in the world to me. And the fact that there's some people who still will depend on that system is very problematic. So here's what I'm going to suggest with this. Number one, we know that black-owned business is not just an option. It should be a necessity. It should be something that we really train our children to do. That should be option one. That shouldn't be the thing you do in case, you can't get other people to give you an opportunity. It should be the first thing you aim for, I believe. Number two, stop believing these corporations are ever going to do right by you. Black wealth will not be created by black jobs because the black jobs are the worst jobs. The only jobs worse than the black jobs are the jobs they give to migrants. That's why they let so many people come into the country illegally. It's because they want to pay them below minimum wage or whatever they pay them. But black jobs are not too much further ahead. The big difference, though, is that you don't even have family. So they actually, at least they have family. Mexican group, they can, with their kids and everything, they get together and they do stuff together. Whereas we don't do it. We're not as quick to build together as other communities because we have family issues. I don't believe that things like diversity programs are going to ever really make a massive difference. What DEI or even affirmative action, which is the better form of DEI, which actually did have some impact, what those things do is they numb the pain. They give you sort of temporary relief from dire poverty and devastation and extreme financial trauma that comes from not having jobs and opportunities. That's what these programs do. They make life a little easier for black folks. So all the people that are screaming in pain because these things have been taken away, I get it. I understand. They took away your morphine. They took away your dope. They took away your painkiller. But a painkiller cannot be a permanent solution to a significant problem. At some point, you got to really commit to the strategies and the policies that are going to truly make you whole. So I say this as a finance professor, not as a guy who runs his mouth on the internet. I'm saying this as a person with a doctorate in this stuff. You have to train your children on investing in stocks, investing in real estate, investing in owning businesses. They have to do those three things. They have to do those things and learn those things before they ever learn how to fill out a job application. The job application should be the last resort. It should not be the first option. Because if you have a child that has enough entrepreneurial ability, they make $1,000 here, $2,000 there, $4,000 here, they can actually do better than a person with a regular job. And they, on top of that, have the thing that the job won't give you, which is happiness. The job doesn't just take away your ability to build wealth in many cases, it takes away your freedom, it takes away your happiness. People are stressed out, people are miserable at these jobs and not getting paid what they deserve. And it would be nice if we had certain types of privilege that allowed us to operate as, we have a world where things are a little different for us, things are less fair for us. Thing for us. We do have to work twice as hard to get half as much, and that's not right. So I think we should create spaces where we don't have to work twice as hard to get half as much. And the only way you can create spaces where you don't have to work twice as hard to get half as much is if you learn how to manufacture Black privilege. Manufacturing Black privilege to me means, committing enough to ownership and investing that we can develop infrastructure that allows our children to be economically safe and to be in spaces where they're rewarded because of who they are rather than despite who they are. Do you understand what I mean? Let me know if you get that. Give me a yes if you get that. And give me a yes also if you can hear me because I don't know what my audio sounds like. I have no idea. I'm just going to keep on talking and hoping for the best. I'm hoping that you can at least catch most of what I'm saying. So this situation with Wells Fargo in the fake interviews, none of that surprises me. When I first took my job at Syracuse University in the early 2000s, I remember that I got an opportunity to be interviewed by NYU. And I remember NYU interviewed me, and I knew going into that interview that the odds of me getting that job were very, very low. I knew they were interviewing me specifically because I was Black, and I did not feel that they, based on what people had sort of told me, I got a sense that they were just doing the interview so they could say that they did it. And this happens all throughout the industry. It happens all throughout the country. America does not really see Black people, our people, as equal. They don't see us as intellectuals. You can blame entertainment for that. You look at entertainment, we're presented as a bunch of clowns, buffoons, and criminals, and we brag on that. We defend that. And it bothers me. It drives me insane. I saw a video where there was a brother who did some crazy stuff to this white lady, and there were people making all these racial comments, and I just was like, look, don't be pinning all that stuff on us. Most of us don't do things like this, right? And the rate your racism shows when you pick this incident to define all of us. But then I thought about it and I thought about how many times I've seen where a white person does something and we will say, this is what all the white men are doing. And I say, no, they're not all doing this. This is what that guy did. Not all of them. They're not all doing this. And so really, I think that this stereotype thing, it ends up hurting us. So when you walk in that job interview and you're Black, just know they're going to see you differently from everybody else. They're not going to see you as the engineer or the chief scientist or the person that's going to be leading the company one day. They see you as a person who they're going to probably give some sort of allowance to. Like, okay, we'll allow this person to come in, but by God, there's no way we'll ever let this person take a leadership position. I think that that's how they see things. Now, you have opportunities to prove yourself and to go above and beyond, but the thing is, you're going against the wind. You're pedaling uphill. You're going uphill in the sense that all of the preconceived notions and biases about you are negative. So you're having to use this extreme perfection to overcome all these things that they already think about you. And it's really hard for all of us to be that outstanding. It's really hard for all of us to become perfect enough to never make a mistake and overcome every stereotype that's laid out against us. That stuff is exhausting, man. That shit is freaking exhausting. So I don't want to play that game. I think it's okay. I think that what you're fighting for, really, when you talk about these racial battles and everything else, is you're really fighting for your right to be human. You're fighting for your right to be average. You're fighting for your right to make a mistake and not have someone indict your whole career or indict your whole community because of a mistake that you made, or use that as a confirmation of some preconceived bias that you're not qualified to do the job. You have a right to go into the job and do some things well and do some things bad and still have people say that person is the good outweighs the bad. So I like working with Tyrone, right? That's not what we typically get in those environments. And I'm tired of complaining about it. I can tell you all about it all day. We can talk about it. We can drink a beer and the way you fix it is ownership. The way you fix it is wealth building. If you build wealth, then you don't have to deal with those things as much. So I encourage you as a family, as a group, as a community, get with your family. I was talking to my brother today about the trust account that we have for my niece and nephew. Hey, we're putting that money in the account. And I told my brother straight up, I said, I'm gonna make sure that both of these little suckers are millionaires by the time they hit their 20s. And I got 25 years to do it. Well, really 20 years. They're both almost 5 years old. I said, I got 20 years. Watch me work. You give me 20 years, I can make anybody into a millionaire because we're going to plan ahead. We're not going to wait until they become 25 or 30 before we start talking about money. We're going to talk about money now. We're going to start making the investments now. They're going to own the assets now. And I want you to process it like this. Think of it this way. Imagine if you had started buying stock in Google for your child in 2004. Think about this. Let me look this up. Google, they may have had stock splits and all that, but I think this is split adjusted. Google stock Class A shares are $251 right now. If you had started buying stock for your child in Google in 2005, you could have bought it for $7 a share. $7 a share. So if you were investing in companies like Google and doing it consistently, the same way you pay your rent, the same way you pay your car note, the same way you pay your cell phone bill, your child would have hundreds of thousands of dollars when they're in their 20s. A person with that kind of money doesn't have to go beg for a job. People have to beg for jobs because they don't have any money. The question is, why don't you have any money? Somebody had 20 years to build wealth for you, 20 whole years to do something for you, 20 years to prepare for you to enter the economy, and they did nothing. They sat there, they fed you, they took you to football practice, they paid the car note, the rent, everything else. They went out to the movies, they went to Beyonce concerts, you went to basketball camp, but nobody put money in the freaking stock portfolio. That is a dereliction of duty. That is a form of child abuse. That is financial irresponsibility that we're going to cut off in this generation. That's something that has to be left in the past. Those are the toxic behaviors, generational curses that we do not pass to the kids because when you do that, you put them in these situations where they got to go to fake job interviews with bastard companies like Wells Fargo, where they're going to pretend like they're going to give them an opportunity and the opportunity never shows up. That's very depressing. It's very hope. I don't want our children to go through life feeling hopeless. I hope that you heard enough of that. I didn't even know if my audio was going through. I just said I'm gonna keep going and try to rock it out. I hope you were able to hear at least some of that. And so anyway, that's my thought for today. I don't have anything else to say. I wanted to come and talk about this Wells Fargo thing because I thought it was it's appalling. It's ridiculous, right? So anyway, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I have a book called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It's an Amazon bestseller. If you want to get a copy, you can go to Amazon or you can go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. We also have financial flashcards and workbooks and all kinds of stuff from everything from AI and crypto to stocks and real estate and everything else. So you can feel free to go to books.com and take a look. Also tonight, not too late to join, you can go to drboycerealestate.com. That's drboycerealestate.com. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you all in class. And also, if you aren't registered yet, you can get a free copy of my training, How to Make Money Without Working, by texting the word money to the number 87948. So text money to 87948 and I'll send it to you. All right, have a good day, everybody. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon. And sorry about the audio. It's Amazon Web Services, so we got to talk to Jeff Bezos about this.